Anna stood in the small kitchen of her rented house with a thin envelope in her hands and a tired look in her eyes because the day had already been long, even though it was still early, and the sink was full of dishes, and the table was covered with school papers and unpaid bills and a plastic bag of groceries that she had not put away yet. She was a divorced mother, and she carried that truth in the way she moved through the house quietly so the children could feel safe even when she felt unsure inside. Her son Leo was 9 and her daughter Mia was 7, and both of them were good kids who tried not to ask for too much because they had seen how often Anna counted money before buying anything. Anna worked at a grocery store and she did small cleaning jobs on weekends when she could find them, and every month she promised herself that next month would be easier, but next month always arrived with the same heavy weight. When the mail came she usually expected bills and school notices, so when she saw a lawyer's name on the envelope her first thought was that something had gone wrong and she felt a cold pinch of worry in her stomach. She sat down at the table and opened it carefully like it might hold bad news that could change everything. Inside was a letter from an office she had never visited, and it said it was about her late uncle's will. Anna paused because the word uncle felt distant like a name from an old photo album. She remembered him only in small pieces like a tall man at a family event long ago, and a voice that spoke softly, and a smell of wood and rain on his coat. People in her family rarely talked about him because he had moved away and stopped visiting, and they said he did not like crowds or questions, and they said he lived alone and kept his life private. Anna had not seen him for many years, and she did not even know where he lived now, so the letter felt strange and unexpected, like life had reached back and tapped her shoulder. She read the letter once, then read it again because she thought she misunderstood it. The letter said she had inherited $1. Only $1. It was written clearly with a formal tone, and it said she must appear in person to receive the inheritance and sign documents. Anna stared at the words and then she laughed. Not because it was funny in a happy way, but because it felt like the kind of joke life played on people who were already tired. $1 could not change anything. $1 could not pay rent, or buy school shoes, or cover a doctor visit. $1 was barely anything at all. She set the letter down and shook her head, and for a moment she wondered if the lawyer's office had sent the wrong letter to the wrong person. Then she thought about her uncle, and she wondered why he would leave her anything, even $1, after so many silent years. Leo walked in and asked why she was laughing, and Anna looked at his face and softened her expression and told him it was nothing important, and she asked him to help Mia with her bag while she finished putting groceries away. After the children ate breakfast and left for school, Anna tried to push the letter out of her mind, but it stayed there like a small stone in a shoe. The bigger problem was not the dollar, it was the strange detail that she had to come in person. If it was truly just $1, why would anyone require a visit and paperwork? During her shift at the store she kept thinking about it while scanning items and stacking shelves. She thought about how her uncle never called her, never asked how she was doing, never sent a card for the children, and yet now after his death he had reached out in the only way he could. That night after Leo and Mia fell asleep, Anna sat at the table with the letter again and looked at it under the weak kitchen light. The house was quiet and the silence made her thoughts louder. She told herself not to waste time on a pointless inheritance, but curiosity did not feel pointless anymore. It felt like a thread that might lead to an answer. She decided she would go to the lawyer's office in the morning, sign whatever was needed, take the $1, and close the chapter. She wanted the story to end cleanly so it would not haunt her thoughts every time she opened the mailbox. The next morning she asked her neighbor to watch Leo and Mia after school, and she promised to return before dinner. She wore a plain blouse and jeans and tied her hair back and took a bus across town to the address listed on the letter. The building was older than the nearby shops and its windows were clean, and the sign outside had the lawyer's name in neat letters. When she walked in, the air smelled like paper and polish, and the receptionist asked for her name and then looked at her with a careful kind of interest, as if she already knew more than she should. Anna sat in a waiting chair and tried not to fidget with her bag. She expected a short meeting and maybe a quick signature and a polite goodbye. A few minutes later a man stepped into the lobby and introduced himself as Mr. Reed and said he was the attorney assigned to her uncle's estate. He was dressed neatly and spoke in a calm voice that made the room feel quieter. He asked Anna to follow him to his office, and she did. Inside the office there were files on shelves and framed certificates on the wall and a small plant on the corner of the desk. Mr. Reed offered her water, and Anna declined because she felt she would not be there long. He opened a folder and confirmed her identity and asked a few simple questions. Then he slid documents across the desk and pointed to where she needed to sign. Anna signed, still thinking it was all very formal for $1. When she finished, Mr. Reed did not reach into a drawer and pull out a coin or a small bill like she expected. Instead, he leaned back slightly and looked at her as if measuring his words. He told her that her uncle's will contained special instructions and that the dollar inheritance was symbolic. Anna frowned because she did not understand. Mr. Reed said her uncle left a statement that the money itself was not the real inheritance. Anna asked what he meant, and her voice sounded sharper than she intended because she did not like being confused. Mr. Reed did not look offended. He simply told her that her uncle requested she be brought to a location and shown something in person, and that the letter was designed to ensure she would come without telling anyone else in the family. Anna's heart beat faster, and she asked why. Mr. Reed said her uncle believed only Anna would handle the truth with care. That sentence made Anna uneasy because it sounded like a secret, and secrets in families usually carried pain. Mr. Reed stood up and said they needed to leave now because the instructions were time-sensitive. Anna looked around the office as if expecting cameras or a prank, but Mr. Reed's face remained professional and steady. She asked where they were going, and he said it was not far but it required a drive. Anna hesitated because she had never gotten into a stranger's car for anything, and she thought about Leo and Mia and how she needed to be home. Mr. Reed assured her the trip would not take long and said he had already arranged the timing so she could return before evening. He also said she could call her neighbor to update her, so Anna stepped into the hallway and made a quick call, then returned still unsure but more curious than afraid. Mr. Reed led her outside where a black car waited near the curb. It was clean and quiet, and it looked expensive compared to Anna's simple life. A driver stood by the door and opened it for her. Anna climbed inside and held the letter in her lap like it could protect her. Mr. Reed sat beside her, and the car began to move through the city streets. At first Anna watched familiar buildings pass by and she tried to guess the destination, but soon the streets changed and the noise of traffic faded. They drove toward the edge of town, and then onto a road lined with tall trees. The air outside looked clearer, and the light between the branches made shifting patterns on the window. Anna felt her throat tighten because the trip felt too serious for something so small, and she wondered if her uncle had left debts or trouble that would now follow her. Mr. Reed remained quiet, as if he had promised her uncle not to say more than necessary. After a while the car turned onto a narrow lane that looked almost hidden, and Anna leaned forward to see where they were going. Ahead, an iron gate rose between stone pillars and the gate looked old and strong and carefully kept. The driver slowed and the gate began to open smoothly, as if someone had been expecting them. Anna stared through the widening gap and saw a long drive leading into a place she could not yet understand. Her laughter from the kitchen felt far away now. The $1 inheritance no longer seemed like a joke. It felt like a key, and she was being led toward a locked door that had been waiting for her for years. The car moved slowly through the open gate, and Anna felt as if she had crossed into a different world because the noise of the city was gone and the air felt calm and heavy with the smell of trees and clean soil. The road was smooth and curved gently forward, and on both sides tall trees stood like quiet guards watching every movement. Anna sat still with her hands folded in her lap and her eyes fixed ahead. She wanted to ask questions, but something inside her told her to wait. Mr. Reed sat beside her with a calm posture, and his gaze forward, as if he had traveled this road before, and knew exactly where it led. As the car continued, Anna noticed signs of careful care around her. The grass was trimmed and the trees were healthy, and stone lamps lined the road even though it was still daylight. This place did not look forgotten or abandoned. It looked protected. After several minutes the road opened into a wide clearing and the car slowed to a stop. Anna looked out the window and her breath caught in her chest. Before her stood a large estate with old stone walls and wide windows that reflected the sky. It was not flashy or modern but strong and quiet, like it had been standing there for a long time. Behind it fields stretched out, and beyond them low hills rose gently against the horizon. Anna stepped out of the car and felt the ground firm beneath her shoes. She felt small standing there, but not in a bad way. It was the kind of feeling that made a person quiet and respectful. Mr. Reed stepped out and gestured for her to follow him. As they walked toward the house, Anna noticed details that felt personal rather than grand. There were wooden benches near the path, and a garden with herbs and flowers that looked recently tended. This was not just a place of wealth. It was a place of intention. Inside the house the air was cool and smelled faintly of wood and books. Light entered through tall windows and fell across a long hallway lined with framed photographs. Anna slowed her steps and looked closely at the pictures. They showed her uncle at different ages standing near rivers, sitting beside campfires, reading books under trees, and working with his hands. Some pictures showed people beside him, including men, women, and even children, but their faces were calm and honest, not posed or proud. Anna realized she had never truly known her uncle, and yet here he was revealing himself through these quiet moments. Mr. Reed led her into a large room that felt like a library. Shelves filled the walls from floor to ceiling, and a wide table stood in the center. On the table lay a folder thicker than the one at the office. Mr. Reed asked Anna to sit, and she did. Her heart felt heavy with expectation. Mr. Reed opened the folder and explained that her uncle had lived a very private life and had built this estate not as a display of wealth but as a place for work, learning, and protection. He said her uncle had invested carefully and quietly over many years and had created several small businesses that supported the land and the people who worked it. Anna listened in silence. She felt confused because none of this matched the stories she had heard growing up. Mr. Reed explained that her uncle had separated himself from most of the family because he did not trust how money changed people. He believed that inheritance often destroyed families instead of helping them. Because of this, he chose a different path. He tested the people he cared about in quiet ways. Anna felt her hands tighten together as she listened. Mr. Reed told her that the $1 inheritance was never meant to be a joke. It was meant to measure her reaction. Her uncle had left instructions that if Anna reacted with anger or tried to contest the will, the estate would be transferred to a trust with no family involvement. But if she accepted the dollar and came without complaint, then she would be shown the truth. Anna felt her eyes burn slightly as she realized her uncle had been watching her from a distance in a way she never imagined. Mr. Reed then told her something that made her sit straighter. Her uncle had followed her life quietly. He knew about her divorce and her work and her children. He had known she never asked family for money and that she worked until exhaustion without blaming others. He had known she laughed at the dollar not with bitterness but with acceptance. That laugh had mattered. It told him she had not lost her sense of humility. Mr. Reed stood and walked to a cabinet and removed a small wooden box. He placed it in front of Anna and opened it slowly. Inside were keys and documents and a simple handwritten letter. Mr. Reed stepped back and allowed Anna to read it alone. The letter was written by her uncle in clear, steady handwriting. He told her that he built this estate as a place of balance and that he believed Anna understood balance better than most. He wrote that life had not been easy on her, but she had not hardened herself against it. He wrote that he did not leave her money directly because he wanted her to grow into responsibility rather than be crushed by sudden wealth. Anna read every word slowly and carefully. Tears slid down her face without sound. Her uncle wrote that the estate now belonged to her, but not in the way she might expect. She would not receive a large sum in her bank account. Instead, she would become the steward of the land and the businesses connected to it. She would receive guidance and support and a fair income, but the wealth itself would remain protected. The estate was meant to serve, not to spoil. Mr. Reed explained that the businesses provided steady income and employment for many people, and that Anna would oversee decisions with the help of experienced managers. She would not be alone. She would learn. He also explained that the house could become her home if she chose, and that her children would have space to grow safely. Anna felt overwhelmed, but not afraid. For the first time in years, she felt the ground beneath her future solid instead of shifting. They walked outside again, and Mr. Reed showed her more of the land. There were workshops and storage buildings and small homes where workers lived. People greeted Mr. Reed with respect and curiosity, and when they saw Anna, some smiled warmly. Mr. Reed introduced her simply and did not announce her role yet. Anna noticed how everyone worked calmly and with purpose. This place felt alive and honest. As the sun began to lower, Mr. Reed told Anna it was time to return for the day. He said there would be many meetings and lessons ahead, and that she could take time to decide how she wanted to move forward. Anna nodded, but she already felt the decision forming inside her. As the car drove back through the gate, Anna looked back at the estate and felt something settle in her chest. The $1 had not been small at all. It had opened a door to a future she never knew existed, and a responsibility she was finally ready to carry. Part 3 will show how Anna brings her children into this new life and faces the first challenge that tests her strength and choices. Anna returned home that evening with her mind full of new images and new weight. The small kitchen looked the same, and the bills on the table still waited like they always did. But Anna felt different inside, as if a quiet door had opened and fresh air had entered her life. She cooked a simple dinner for Leo and Mia and listened to their school stories and smiled at their small jokes. Yet her thoughts kept drifting back to the tall trees, the iron gate, and the calm estate that felt like a secret world hidden in plain sight. After the children fell asleep, Anna sat at the table again, this time holding the wooden box Mr. Reed had given her. She touched the keys and the letter and tried to understand how one day could change so much. The next morning Mr. Reed called and told her there were important steps to take. He said the estate had managers and staff, but they needed to meet Anna soon because certain decisions required her approval. He also said Anna should bring the children on the next visit so they could see the place and feel comfortable. Anna felt nervous about telling Leo and Mia. She did not want to confuse them or make promises that could break later. But she also knew she could not carry this alone. The estate was real and the responsibility was real, and her children were part of her life in every way. After school she sat with Leo and Mia in the living room and explained in simple words that their uncle had left her something important, not just money but a place, and that they would visit it together. Leo looked curious and asked if it was like a big farm. Mia asked if there would be animals. Anna smiled and said there might be, and that they would see. She did not mention wealth or inheritance in big words. She only said it was a new chance and they would be careful. 2 days later they traveled with Mr. Reed again. This time the children sat in the back seat and pressed their faces near the window as the city faded away. They asked questions about the trees and the long road. When the iron gate appeared, Leo whispered wow, and Mia held Anna's hand tightly, not from fear but from wonder. As the gate opened, the children stared at the wide path and the tall lamps and the green fields. Anna watched them and felt a warm ache in her chest because she had wanted to give them more than small rooms and second-hand clothes, and now she could offer them space and hope, but she also knew she must remain careful. At the estate, they met a woman named Clara who managed the home staff and a man named Sam who oversaw the land and the workshops. Clara was kind and spoke gently to the children. She showed them a bright room filled with books and puzzles and told them they could explore the garden later. Sam greeted Anna with a steady handshake and said her uncle had prepared for this moment for a long time. Anna felt both comforted and overwhelmed. It was one thing to read a letter, and another thing to stand among people who had lived and worked under her uncle's plan. Mr. Reed and the managers sat with Anna in the library. They spoke about schedules, repairs, supplies, and business partnerships. Anna listened closely and asked questions when she did not understand. She did not pretend to know everything. She had learned long ago that pride did not pay bills. Clara explained how the house ran and how the estate supported staff families. Sam explained the workshops produced wooden goods and repaired tools for nearby communities. There was also a small store in town connected to the estate that sold products made on the land. The estate was not just a big house. It was a working system. As Anna listened, she realized her uncle had built a place that helped others quietly. It was not about showing off. It was about stability. That idea made sense to her because stability was what she had chased for years. Mr. Reed said the estate would provide Anna a fair monthly income and a home if she chose, but it also required careful leadership. Anna nodded and felt the seriousness settle in her shoulders. She did not feel scared. She felt ready to learn. Later that day, Anna walked with Leo and Mia through the garden. Mia picked a small flower and held it carefully. Leo asked about the workshops and wanted to see the tools. Anna promised she would take him. They found a small pond with a bench beside it, and the children sat there and watched the water. Anna looked at their faces and thought about how different their childhood could become if she made wise choices. But peace did not last long. In the late afternoon, a car arrived at the estate unexpectedly. Clara came quickly to the garden and told Anna someone had come asking for her. Anna felt her stomach tighten. She followed Clara toward the front of the house and saw a man standing near the steps. He wore a neat jacket and a sharp smile. Mr. Reed's expression changed slightly when he saw him. The man introduced himself as Victor. He said he was Anna's cousin from her father's side. Anna recognized the name but not the face. She had not seen him in years. Victor spoke with a friendly tone, but his eyes moved around the property, as if counting it. He said he heard news about the will and he wanted to congratulate Anna. Anna felt a sudden chill because she had not told anyone in the family. She wondered how he knew. Mr. Reed remained calm but stood close like a quiet barrier. Victor continued speaking and said the family was surprised the inheritance went to Anna. He said many people believed the estate should be shared. He said he came only to talk and to offer help with legal matters. Anna heard the word help, but she felt it was not true help. It felt like a hook hidden in soft words. Anna kept her voice steady and asked how he found the estate. Victor smiled and said family always finds family. The answer felt slippery. Mr. Reed stepped forward and reminded Victor that the estate was private property and visits required permission. Victor laughed lightly and said he meant no harm. He then suggested that Anna should meet with the wider family soon because feelings were already rising and rumors were spreading. Anna felt her heart beat faster, but she did not show fear. She had faced harder things than rude relatives. She had faced empty fridges and late rent and nights of worry. She could face this too. Anna told Victor she would consider speaking with the family, but only when she was ready and only with proper advice. Victor's smile tightened for a moment, then returned. He said he respected her choice and handed her a card with his number. Then he looked toward the house again and said it would be a shame if such a valuable place became a burden for someone not prepared. Anna understood the message hidden under his words. He was telling her she might fail, so she should give up control. After Victor left, Mr. Reed explained that her uncle had expected this. He said some relatives would come with friendly faces and sharp intentions. He also said the will was strong and legal, but pressure could still be heavy. Anna looked at the long driveway and felt the estate's quiet strength around her. She also felt the first real test of her new life rising like a storm far away. That night, Anna sat with Leo and Mia in a guest room and told them they might move there soon. Leo smiled wide and Mia hugged her. Anna hugged them back and whispered that no matter where they lived they would stay together. When the children slept, Anna stared out the window at the dark trees and the calm lights along the path. She thought about Victor's words and she decided she would not be pushed. She would learn this place. She would protect it. And she would prove that her uncle's trust was not misplaced. Part 4 will show the family gathering and the first big decision Anna must make to keep the estate safe while choosing what kind of leader she wants to become. Anna woke up early at the estate with a feeling that the air had changed. The morning light was soft and pale, and birds moved between the trees, but her mind was not calm. Victor's visit had left a mark. It was not just the words he spoke, it was the way his eyes measured the land like it was a prize. Anna made breakfast for Leo and Mia in the large kitchen, and the children ate happily as if this place had always been theirs. Leo talked about exploring the workshops again. Mia asked if she could plant flowers near the window. Anna listened and smiled, but her thoughts stayed sharp because she knew the family would not stay silent now. Mr. Reed arrived later with a folder and a serious expression. He told Anna the wider family had been informed officially by mail, and some of them were already calling his office. He said there would be questions, complaints, and pressure. He also said her uncle had left another instruction that was not mentioned in the first meeting. Anna's chest tightened as she asked what it was. Mr. Reed told her there was a family gathering planned, and it was written into the will as a final step. Anna would have to meet certain relatives in person and listen to their requests. It did not mean she must agree, but she must show up and hear them. Her uncle wanted the truth to be clear and direct, not spread through rumors. Anna felt anger rise for a moment, not at her uncle, but at the situation. She had finally found a place of peace, and now it was being pulled toward old family drama. Mr. Reed reminded her she could handle it with structure and rules. Anna took a deep breath and asked how soon. Mr. Reed said the gathering was scheduled for the coming weekend at a neutral location in town, in a meeting hall connected to the estate store. Anna agreed. She did not want to hide. She wanted to face it and close the door properly. In the days before the meeting, Anna learned more about the estate. Sam showed her books of expenses and income. Clara explained staff schedules and how the home supported several families. Anna spent hours reading notes her uncle left behind. She found lists of repairs, plans for planting seasons, and letters to suppliers. It was clear her uncle had not built this to impress anyone. He built it to last. Anna began to understand that her job was not to spend wealth, but to protect a living system. That idea made her feel strong. On the morning of the gathering, Anna dressed in simple clean clothes. She did not choose anything fancy. She wanted to look like herself. Leo and Mia stayed at the estate with Clara and a trusted helper. Anna kissed them and promised she would return soon. Leo asked if she was going to a meeting. Anna said yes. Mia asked if it was scary. Anna smiled and said it was only serious, not scary. Mr. Reed drove Anna to town. The meeting hall was a plain building with a small parking area. When Anna walked in, she saw rows of chairs and a long table at the front. Several people were already there. Some faces were familiar from old memories and some were strangers. Victor stood near the side talking to two older women. When he saw Anna, he smiled quickly, but the smile did not reach his eyes. Mr. Reed guided Anna to the front table and asked her to sit. He explained the rules of the meeting to everyone. He said the will was legal and final. He said Anna was the steward of the estate and the businesses. He said the gathering was meant for clear communication, not arguments. He also said any threats or disrespect would end the meeting immediately. The room became quieter. Some people looked annoyed, but no one spoke yet. An older woman named Nora stood up first. She said she was Anna's aunt and she had known the uncle longer than anyone else. Nora said the estate should be shared because it belonged to the whole family history. She spoke with a smooth voice, but her words carried accusation. She said Anna was young and inexperienced and could ruin everything. Anna listened without interrupting. When Nora finished, Anna thanked her for speaking and said she understood the feeling of family history. Then Anna explained calmly that the estate was not a prize and it was not a pile of money. It was a working place with responsibilities and people depending on it. She said her uncle chose her for a reason and she would honor that choice. A man named Kareem stood up next. He said he was struggling and needed financial help. He said the family should support each other. His voice sounded desperate, but also demanding. Anna felt sympathy, but she also remembered Mr. Reed's warning that money changed people's faces. Anna asked him what kind of help he needed, and he mentioned a large amount. Mr. Reed quietly reminded the room that the estate funds were protected and must be used for estate operations first. Anna told Kareem she could not hand out large sums, but she could offer something else. She said she could consider work opportunities connected to the estate for those who truly wanted to build a stable life. Some people murmured. Victor's face hardened. Then Victor stood up. He spoke like someone used to being heard. He said Anna was being unfair. He said her uncle had been private and old and maybe influenced. He suggested the will should be questioned. Mr. Reed immediately responded that the will had been reviewed and confirmed, and there was no sign of wrongdoing. Victor then changed his approach. He said if Anna insisted on leading, she should at least bring in someone experienced, and he offered himself. He said he had business knowledge and could protect the estate from mistakes. Anna looked at him carefully. She realized this was his plan from the beginning. He wanted a seat near power so he could slowly take control. Anna stood up. The room watched her closely. She spoke in a clear voice that was not loud but carried strength. She said she respected family, but she would not allow pressure to decide her future. She said she would build a leadership team based on trust and skill, not blood and loud words. She said the estate would offer fair chances, but not special favors. She also said anyone who tried to harm the estate would be handled by the law, because the estate supported workers and their families and their safety mattered. Victor smiled again and asked if she was threatening her own family. Anna answered that she was protecting her children and the people who depended on the estate. She reminded them that this place was not just stone and land, it was jobs and homes and a community. Some faces softened when she said that, especially older workers' relatives who knew the estate's value beyond money. The meeting continued with more requests and complaints. Anna kept her tone steady. She listened, she answered, and she did not get pulled into shouting. Mr. Reed watched her closely and seemed quietly pleased. At the end, Anna made one clear announcement. She said she would create a small support plan for family members who were truly in need, but it would be limited and fair and connected to effort, like training, work placements, and basic help in emergencies. She said there would be no large payouts and no access to estate accounts. She also said anyone who wanted to be part of the estate's future must follow rules of respect. After the gathering, some relatives left angry, some left quiet, and a few approached Anna with softer voices. Nora did not apologize, but she looked less sure. Kareem looked tired and asked about work opportunities. Anna told him Sam would discuss options. Victor stayed back near the door, watching. As Anna walked out, Victor spoke low and said she was making enemies. Anna did not stop walking. She simply said she would rather face enemies than lose her integrity. Back at the estate, Leo and Mia ran to her. Anna hugged them tightly and felt her shoulders finally relax. She had faced the family and did not break. Still, she knew the challenge was not over. People like Victor did not give up easily. In the quiet of the evening, Mr. Reed told her there was one more issue. He said the estate was about to enter a major business decision involving the town store and workshop contracts, and someone had already tried to interfere with paperwork. Anna's eyes narrowed. The pressure was moving from words to actions. Anna did not sleep much that night because her mind stayed awake even when her body was tired and the estate felt quiet in a way that carried questions instead of peace. Early in the morning she walked through the garden while the light was still soft and the air was cool, and she thought about her uncle and the trust he placed in her. She knew the final test was not about money or land but about judgment and courage. When Mr. Reed arrived he brought serious news and calm guidance. He explained that someone had tried to change paperwork connected to the town store and workshop contracts, and the changes would have moved control away from the estate managers. The attempt failed because of checks in place, but it showed intention. Anna listened carefully and asked who had access to those documents. Mr. Reed said only a few people had access and that the timing matched the family gathering. Anna did not accuse anyone yet because she believed truth should be found through facts, not fear. Anna called Sam and Clara and asked them to meet in the library. She explained the situation clearly and asked for honesty and patience. Sam said the workshops depended on the contracts and any disruption would hurt workers. Clara said the staff trusted Anna and would stand with her. Anna thanked them and said they would proceed carefully. She asked Mr. Reed to begin a quiet review of document access logs and communications while she focused on stabilizing operations. She also asked Sam to delay any final signatures until the review finished. This slowed things down but protected the estate. That afternoon Anna visited the town store and spoke with workers there. She listened more than she talked. People shared worries about rumors and changes. Anna told them the estate would remain steady and that no jobs would be lost due to pressure or threats. Her voice was calm and sure, and people felt it. Trust grew not from promises but from presence. Later that day Kareem arrived at the estate, asking about work. Anna met him with Sam and offered a training role connected to logistics. Kareem accepted, and his shoulders eased. Anna saw how opportunity could replace resentment when given fairly. As evening came, Mr. Reed returned with findings. The review showed messages sent from an account linked to Victor requesting drafts and suggesting changes. It was not enough alone to accuse, but it was a pattern. Anna felt a quiet firmness settle in her chest. She asked Mr. Reed to request a formal meeting with Victor under legal guidance. She wanted clarity, not drama. Mr. Reed agreed and arranged the meeting for the next morning at his office. Before sleeping, Anna sat with Leo and Mia and read to them. Leo asked if the estate would be okay. Anna said yes because people were working together. Mia asked if the flowers could be planted tomorrow. Anna smiled and said yes. The simple hopes of her children reminded her why she must act with care and strength. The next morning, Anna and Mr. Reed met Victor in a clean room with sunlight on the table. Victor arrived confident and relaxed. Mr. Reed explained the purpose of the meeting and presented the findings without accusation. He asked Victor to explain his communications. Victor tried to deflect at first, saying he only wanted to help streamline processes. Anna listened and then spoke. She said help must be asked for, not forced. She said transparency mattered more than clever moves. She asked Victor directly if he intended to gain control by confusion. The room went quiet. Victor smiled less. He said Anna was inexperienced and needed protection. Anna replied that protection without consent was control. Mr. Reed stated clearly that any further interference would be treated as a legal matter. He also stated that the estate would proceed with strengthened safeguards and independent audits. Victor realized the door he tried to open was closing. He shifted his tone and suggested partnership again. Anna declined politely and firmly. She said the estate would build partnerships based on shared values and clear roles. The meeting ended without raised voices. Victor left with his options limited by light and rules. Back at the estate, Anna gathered the managers and explained new safeguards and communication channels. She announced the creation of a small council including Sam and Clara and an external advisor chosen for integrity. Decisions would be documented and shared. This structure reduced risk and shared responsibility. Workers felt safer knowing systems were clear. Weeks passed and stability returned. The delayed contracts were finalized cleanly and the workshops continued without loss. The town store improved with small changes suggested by workers. Training programs began and some family members joined respectfully. Those who came with demands drifted away. Anna learned quickly and asked questions openly. She spent mornings reviewing reports and afternoons walking the land and evenings with her children. Balance became practice, not theory. One afternoon, Anna opened the wooden box again and reread her uncle's letter. She understood it differently now. The $1 was a test of character and patience. The estate was a test of leadership and humility. The true inheritance was the chance to build something that lasted while staying human. Anna felt gratitude and resolve. On a bright day, Anna hosted a simple gathering at the estate for workers and their families. There was food and music and children running across grass. Anna spoke briefly and thanked everyone for their trust and effort. She said the estate would grow with care and fairness. People applauded not loudly but sincerely. Leo and Mia planted flowers near the window with Clara's help. Mia laughed when dirt covered her hands. Leo showed Sam a drawing of a workshop idea. Sam listened seriously. As the sun lowered, Anna stood near the pond and watched reflections ripple. Mr. Reed joined her and said her uncle would be proud. Anna smiled softly and said she hoped to be worthy every day. She knew challenges would return in new forms, but she also knew she could face them with steady steps. That evening, Anna tucked her children into bed in their new rooms. Leo asked what the best part of the estate was. Anna said the people. Mia asked what the hardest part was. Anna said choosing kindness with firmness. The children drifted to sleep feeling safe. Anna walked through the quiet house and turned off lights. Outside, the lamps along the path glowed gently. The iron gate stood strong, not to keep the world out, but to protect what mattered inside. Anna felt no need to laugh at the $1 anymore. It had given her something far greater than money. It gave her a path and the confidence to walk it.